one of the types of attachment, and of course the one that we would all most hope for would be secure attachment. And secure attachment, I'll describe a few of the features of each of these. Secure attachment involves the ability to feel comfortable, reasonably comfortable being close with others and also being apart from others. So there's a good balance between closeness and distance. It's not that with some of the insecure types, there's a tendency to want either too much closeness or want to avoid closeness. So secure attachment is a really good balance between those two. Really comfortable or reasonably comfortable with others and with intimacy, but also valuing time apart and being able to be on one's own and develop one's own interests and activities and things like that. Okay, so that's one thing. With what's called anxious insecure attachment or anxious preoccupied, a person is less comfortable being alone and tends to be over-focused on other people and on wanting to be really close with other people, and not just close, but kind of clingy. Okay, someone with anxious attachment will tend to be like worried a lot about the connections with others, fearful that maybe the connection will diminish. Maybe the other person doesn't like them as much. A very common feature is, if I've been with somebody that I like or somebody that I want to like me, and I've had an interaction, after that interaction, I might get really obsessed with, oh, maybe I said this wrong and maybe this person won't like me. Oh, I made a fool of myself. Oh no, this person isn't going to want to meet me anymore. That would be a sign of anxious insecurity if that happens a lot. Okay, now every person has a whole range of relational and attachment types of experiences. So even someone with security might have the experience that I just described every now and then. Okay? And that wouldn't mean that they're not secure. But if somebody has that kind of experience I described, like more often than not, that would suggest the person has anxious insecurity. Another form of insecurity is called avoidant or dismissing insecure attachment. And that's kind of the opposite of the anxious form, where the person is not focused excessively or even much at all, perhaps, on closeness with others. The person tends to keep distance from others and to prefer being more self-reliant. Intimacy for someone with avoidant or dismissing insecure attachment is frightening. Okay, it stirs up discomfort. So the person might have friendships and connections with some people, but they can't get too close. Okay, if the relationship starts getting too close, like say the other maybe wants to connect more, if someone wants to connect more with me and spend more time with me or develop more of a relationship, then I might pull back, say, well, no, I might be less interested in being in contact with that person because I need to keep a certain level of distance. And then there's one other primary subtype of the insecure attachment, and that's referred to typically as disorganized attachment. And what that is when there's a combination to a relatively extreme degree of both of those other insecure patterns. Sometimes the person might be over clingy and over focused on the other, and then sometimes like really avoidant, really wanting to keep distance and pushing the other person away. It can be very chaotic with the back and forth in that way. So those are the traditional subtypes within the whole domain of the attachment patterns that are possible. Because there are other ways to specify the attachment patterns, but what I've just described is the most common one within the field now, and probably the most easily accessible to people in general and parents who want to understand what their patterns may be.